Her sunglasses were still on the dash. But the case, the one from our honeymoon, was gone. It was small, sentimental, always there. Now it wasn't. She said it got lost at the hotel, but her smile didn't match the words. So I nodded and started remembering things she hoped I'd forget. Let me take you back to the moment I stopped believing her. 3 weeks earlier, life was moving like clockwork. We were 2 weeks out from our 10th anniversary. 10 years, 2 kids, 1 mortgage, and a minivan with 112,000 miles. A life we'd built slow and steady, the kind that looked solid from every angle. Quiet mornings, school drop-offs, shared glances across soccer fields and kitchen counters. Her name is Claire. We met when I was 32. She was 29, working HR at the regional office where I handled IT. Her energy was easy, her instincts sharp. We clicked without sparks, just a simple mutual understanding, like 2 puzzle pieces falling into place. Our boys, Henry and Sam, are 7 and 5. The age where everything's about Legos and snacks and running just because. Claire handles the mornings. I handle bedtime. We split weekends. Fairly, predictably. The trip to Costa Rica was her idea. Something different for the boys, she'd said. They've never seen monkeys in the wild. She smiled when she said it, brushing flour from her hands as she made waffles that Sunday morning. Let's do something memorable. It was the first family vacation we'd taken in nearly 3 years. And it was perfect. On paper, the beachside villa was quiet, remote. We hiked. We swam. We played Uno under mosquito netting. Claire laughed easily, dressed lighter than usual. Brighter colors. Shorter shorts. The boys loved it. She was more relaxed, more animated. She'd wander outside at night, claiming the breeze helped her sleep. She started doing yoga in the mornings. She'd never liked yoga. She posted pictures constantly. More of herself than usual. Posed shots near waterfalls. One selfie in aviators I didn't recognize. Henry asked who took the photo. She said a kind couple passing by. I didn't think much of it at the time. That's the thing about trust. It makes you slow. The last night, I woke around 3 a.m. and found her side of the bed empty. I checked the bathroom. Nothing. Out on the balcony, the chair cushions were undisturbed. She came back 10 minutes later, startled to see me awake. Just needed air, she said. Can't sleep. She climbed back into bed, cold and quiet. Her phone buzzed once on the nightstand. She turned it face down. Back in Dallas, we unpacked. She took the boys to get groceries. I started laundry. That's when I noticed her sunglasses on the dash. No case. And for the first time in 10 years, I had a question I didn't want to ask. Something had changed. And the more I thought about it, the more I knew I wasn't meant to notice. The day after we got back, Claire said she was behind on everything. She spent most of it in the bedroom with her laptop, hair in a bun, blinds half drawn. The door was closed more often than not. When I brought her a sandwich around noon, she looked up like I'd interrupted something. Oh, thanks, she said. I didn't realize it was that late. I stood there for a second. Normally she'd wave me in. Instead, she kept one hand hovering over the keyboard. You okay? She smiled small. Just catching up. That night she fell asleep before me. That was new. Over the next few days, her rhythm shifted in small, forgettable ways. She left the house without saying where she was going. Came back with a new candle and groceries we didn't need. She skipped movie night with the boys, claiming a migraine. But I caught her scrolling Instagram in the bedroom with the brightness turned down. Her tone softened with the kids, but dulled around me. She'd leave a room while I was mid-sentence. Say, just a sec, and not return. I told myself it was post-vacation drag. The laundry, the errands, the school emails. Maybe it was just stress. I looked it up. Post-travel fatigue. Re-entry blues. The internet had names for everything. One night after dinner, I sat on the porch. The air was still. I could hear the neighbor's wind chime, the faint hum of a distant lawnmower. Claire joined me, barefoot, her wine glass half full. She didn't say much. Everything good at work? I asked. She nodded. Yeah, just catching up. She used that phrase a lot now. Catching up. On what? I never asked. We used to brush teeth together. Now she stayed in the bathroom until I was already in bed. The toothbrush charger moved to her side of the sink. She started using a different face wash. Eucalyptus. One morning, I asked her if she still wanted to go to the cabin for our anniversary next month. We'd talked about it before the trip, just the two of us, one weekend. She paused mid-pour, orange juice half filling Sam's cup. I don't know. Things feel kind of busy right now. You mean work? Everything. I think we should just stay in this here. She kissed Sam's forehead and moved on. No argument. No real explanation. Just moved on. At night, I'd lie beside her and watch her scroll. Once, I reached for her hand. She didn't pull away, but she didn't squeeze back either. It sat there, still, as if she hadn't noticed. I told myself I was overthinking, that this was just the ebb and the tide. All marriages had them. And yet, there was something in the way she started locking her phone again, in how she never left it charging on the kitchen counter anymore, in the way she laughed, freely, brightly, when texting, then set it down, always face down, and said, just work stuff. Always work. The boys didn't notice. Not yet. To them, she was still mom. Still the one who packed their lunches with napkin notes and found the missing socks in seconds. But I noticed. In glances. In silences. She used to ask about my day. Now, when I told her, her eyes would slide past me, like she was watching something behind me, listening for something else. I tried to meet her there, to reach across that quiet gap, but whatever it was, it kept widening. She hadn't left. Not physically. But she was slipping behind something. A wall I couldn't name. And every time I tried to follow, she smiled just enough to make me doubt myself. So I stopped asking. But I started watching. Tuesday night, she came home late. She texted at 6:13, running behind. Big client thing. Don't wait up. At 7:40, I put the boys to bed. At 8:15, I reheated pasta, sat at the kitchen island, and ate alone. She walked through the door at 9:06, hair down, lips touched up. Her heels clicked differently than they had that morning. New rhythm. New weight. Long day? I asked. She kissed the top of my head like I was an elderly relative. Exhausting. She dropped her bag in the hallway, slipped past the table, and disappeared into the bedroom. I followed 2 minutes later. Her phone was already on the charger. Face down. I didn't say anything. Just watched as she peeled off her earrings and walked into the bathroom. She left the door open, but not the way she used to. It felt staged, like background noise. The next morning, I noticed her calendar wasn't synced to the kitchen tablet anymore, the shared one we both used for years. She said the app glitched and she hadn't had time to relink it. That same day, I checked her phone bill. Not obsessively, just a glance. One number repeated more than the others. Late calls, usually after 9:30. Sometimes before 7 a.m. Sometimes just after school drop-off. I didn't recognize it. No name attached. Just a 415 area code. She didn't have friends in San Francisco. That night, I watched her scroll through her phone while brushing her teeth. Her thumb hovered, scrolled, hovered again. When I entered, she turned slightly away. I asked nothing. Saturday, she left for a quick Target run and came back nearly 2 hours later with one bag and a receipt for less than $30. Lip balm. Dishwasher pods. A clearance mug. She was humming when she walked in. She used to hum when she cooked. Now it was when she came home. She set the bag down on the counter like it was proof of something, then walked straight upstairs and took a long shower. I looked at the mug. It had pineapples on it. We don't like pineapples. I started taking notes. Nothing elaborate. Just timestamps. Locations. What she said she was doing versus what made sense. Thursday, yoga at 6 p.m. But her mat was still rolled in the hall closet. Shoes clean. Shower dry when she got back. Monday, girls' dinner at Mandy's. But her hair was straighter than usual and she wore perfume I hadn't smelled in a year. There was a receipt in the passenger door pocket the next morning. A valet stub from a hotel downtown. Not Mandy's neighborhood. One afternoon while she was out, I opened her laptop. Just for updates, I told myself. It required a new password. She'd never changed it before. Not in 10 years. I didn't try to guess. I just closed it and walked away. The emotional chill settled slowly. Not abrupt. Just an erosion. We didn't argue. We didn't touch. She used to lean her head on my shoulder during movies. Now she sat with a throw pillow between us. She used to comment on the news over breakfast. Now she scrolled silently, sipping coffee from the pineapple mug. I started waking earlier. Just to think. I'd sit in the dark with my coffee and stare out the window while the house slept. I made lists in my head. What I knew. What I didn't. She laughed at something on her phone one night and turned the screen away when I walked in. When I asked what was funny, she said, just a meme, and shoved it in her pocket. She doesn't laugh at memes. I wasn't ready to accuse. I needed more than instincts. More than a hunch. I needed clarity. Because something was happening. Something just beyond reach. The clue came in silence. Her phone was on the bathroom counter, screen up, while she showered. A rare slip. She'd grown meticulous, always guarding it like a lifeline. But that morning, in a rush to get the boys to school, she forgot herself. A message lit up as I reached for the sink. Last night meant a lot. Thinking of you already. No name. Just a number. The same 415 area code from the call logs. Beneath it, 2 prior messages. A dinner reservation confirmation, timestamped 3 nights earlier, and a blurry photo, low light, city view, 2 glasses on a table. I didn't touch the phone. I didn't take a screenshot. I just stood there staring as the screen dimmed back into black. She stepped out of the shower 2 minutes later, humming. I handed her the towel without a word. That night, while she slept, I sat on the edge of the bed and reviewed our shared photo cloud. She never logged out on the family tablet. The cloud had synced automatically, photos, timestamps, geotags. Folder by folder, I scanned for something out of place. At 11:46 p.m. last Thursday, a new album, untitled. 1 photo. A skyline view from a high-rise. Downtown lights. Her reflection faint in the window. Dressed in black, holding a glass of wine. It wasn't one she'd normally share. And it wasn't meant for the family album. It was sent to someone else. Maybe to that same 415 number. Next to her on the ledge, barely visible, was a man's arm. Tan. Wearing a watch I didn't own. I backed out of the album and opened her map's history. She hadn't disabled location services. Thursday night, she hadn't been at Mandy's. She'd parked in a structure off McKinney and walked into the Carlton, an upscale hotel with private dining rooms and curtain corner suites. That was the final connection. The valet stub. The timestamp. The photo. The next morning, I noticed something small but undeniable. Her necklace. Gold, slim, with a tiny onyx pendant. A gift from me on our 7th anniversary. She wore it constantly. Now it was gone. In its place was a thinner chain with a rose gold locket I'd never seen before. When I asked casually, "New piece," she smiled, touched it gently. "Gift from Mandy," she said. "Birthday thing." Her birthday was 5 months ago. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I couldn't. I needed time. I needed quiet. So I went through the motions. Packed lunches. Did drop-offs. Took phone calls from work with practiced calm. But inside, something had gone still. Not pain. Not yet. Just absence. The kind you feel when you realize the walls of your home no longer hold memories, they hold ghosts. That night, as I sat in the living room after everyone had gone to bed, I opened a new note on my phone. I typed one word, James. That was the name on the reservation confirmation. Then I added, 415 number. Hotel photo. New necklace. Location pings. I saved it without emotion. Just data now. Just steps. That's when I knew. And it changed everything. She was folding laundry when I walked in. The boys were asleep. The house was quiet. The hum of the dryer, the soft rhythm of shirts being flattened and stacked. A normal night by all appearances. I stood in the doorway and watched her. She didn't look up. "Where were you last Thursday night?" I asked. Her hands paused mid-fold. She didn't turn. Didn't flinch. "Mandy's," she said, after a beat. "Told you that already." I nodded. "You sure?" She turned then, a sock still in her hand. "Yes. Why?" I took my phone out of my pocket and tapped a few times. Turned the screen toward her. Photo. Skyline. Her reflection in the glass. A man's arm. 2 glasses. She stared. Said nothing. I scrolled once. Message preview. "Last night was perfect. Miss you already." Her throat moved. Swallowing. "I didn't go looking," I said. "Your phone lit up by accident. The rest just lined up." She opened her mouth, then closed it. I sat down across from her, elbows on my knees. "How long?" She dropped the sock. "Don't lie," I added, not loud. "Just steady. I'm asking for the last time." Her voice, when it came, was thin. "Since May. 3 months. Give or take." She sat down on the edge of the couch, facing sideways, like we weren't even in the same conversation. "Who is he?" She shook her head, rubbed her temples. "Doesn't matter. I'm not asking for a name out of curiosity," I said. "I need to know what kind of man has been in your life while I've been paying for your dinners and putting our boys to sleep." She looked at me then, something sharp in her eyes. "Don't reduce this to money. Then don't reduce it to loneliness." Silence. "You met with him?" I asked. She didn't answer. I stood up, walked to the window. The street was dark. A porch light flicked on across the road. I trusted you, I said. She made a small sound behind me. A breath. A sob. I couldn't tell. You don't have to say anything else, I added. It's all there. The photo. The number. The nights. I turned. Her hands were clasped, knuckles white. I wasn't looking for this, she whispered. I didn't plan. I don't care. She blinked. You understand? I said. I don't care why. I don't care how. I only care that I saw you change, asked what was wrong, and got lies instead. She tried to speak again. I held up a hand. Don't. You've used enough words. Save the rest. Her lips trembled. I didn't want to hurt you. I let out a quiet, bitter laugh. Then you should have tried harder. She looked down. The dryer buzzed. Somewhere upstairs, a door creaked. One of the boys turned in his sleep. Neither of us moved. I'm sleeping in the guest room, I said. For how long? I looked at her. She already knew. There was no yelling. No drama. Just damage. Irreparable and quiet. And still unfolding. The house felt different the next morning. Same walls, same sounds, but hollow in a way I couldn't define. I made the boys' lunches in silence. Claire came into the kitchen halfway through, said nothing. She poured coffee, careful not to bump my shoulder. Her robe brushed the counter. That was all. We didn't look at each other. At drop-off, Henry asked why Mom wasn't coming too. I told him she had work. Sam wanted to play a game in the car. I couldn't focus. I nodded along, said, wow, at the right moments. He didn't notice. Back home, I went upstairs and sat on the edge of our bed, their bed, now. My side was still indented. Her pillow held a faint trace of the perfume she wore on Thursday nights. I moved to the guest room after that. It's smaller. No view. No pictures on the walls. The lamp clicks louder. But it's clean. Uncomplicated. That first night, I didn't sleep. I lay on top of the blanket, eyes open, listening. I heard the boys' door creak. The hum of Claire brushing her teeth. Water running. Footsteps crossing to the bathroom and back. At some point, she stopped outside the guest room. I saw the shadow under the door. It lingered, then faded. I avoided the kitchen. Took my coffee in the garage. Kept a thermos by my desk. Worked in the upstairs office with the door shut. Every time I heard her on the phone, my ears strained involuntarily. Not for content. Just tone. Was she different with him? Lighter? Did she laugh at his jokes? I stopped caring. Then hated that I had to stop caring. I found a photo in the junk drawer, one of the old ones, printed from Walgreens back when we still made albums. She's sitting on the hood of our first car, holding Henry when he was a baby. I'm behind the camera. She's laughing. Real, open laughter. I almost didn't recognize it. I put the photo face down and left it there. Sunday, I took the boys to the park. Just us. Claire didn't ask to come. I didn't offer. The sun was high. The swings creaked with movement. Henry ran ahead. Sam chased pigeons. I watched a father nearby tie his daughter's shoe. Something about the way he knelt, unhurried, focused, made my chest tighten. I used to do that. Now I just count exits. Escape plans. Rehearse what I'll say if she asks for anything. She hasn't. Not yet. At night, the house goes quiet early. No TV in the background. No shared brushing of teeth. Just muted footsteps. Lights dimmed. Doors closing. One evening, I walked past our bedroom and saw her sitting on the floor by the bed, head bowed. She didn't see me. I kept walking. Whatever she was feeling wasn't my concern anymore. She kept her distance. Said goodnight in passing, like a roommate. The boys noticed the change but didn't ask. Children adapt quickly. It's adults who struggle. I haven't touched her things. Her books still sit on the bedside table. Her robe still hangs on the hook. Her glass of water still on the coaster, half full, gathering dust. It's all still there. But it's not. I told a friend at work. Just one. He didn't say much. Just nodded, placed a hand on my shoulder, and said, don't rush anything. Let it sit first. That's what I've been doing. Letting it sit. The silence. The absence. The fracture beneath familiar routines. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not numb. I'm just here. Breathing inside a house that doesn't echo the same. And not ready yet. It was Thursday when I called Mark. He's not a therapist. He works in logistics. We met 12 years ago on a job in Phoenix, shared a flat tire on a 100-degree day, and somehow kept talking after that. He's the kind of friend who doesn't ask much but always shows up. We sat on a bench behind the old softball fields. The game lights buzzed above us, but the field was empty. Just two dads pretending not to fall apart. He listened while I talked. About the photo, the hotel, the texts, the silence since. When I stopped, he asked one thing. You want to save it? I didn't answer. He nodded like he expected that. You ever see it coming? He asked. I shook my head. There were signs. Small ones. But I told myself they were normal. Like what? I thought for a second. She started running more. Getting ready longer. Wearing perfume when she said she was going to Target. But I didn't question it. Why not? Because I trusted her, I said quietly. Mark rubbed his palms together. Sometimes it's not about us. Sometimes people just fracture. I glanced at him. You think I fractured her? He exhaled. I think long marriages go quiet. And if one of you's listening to that silence too hard, it starts to sound like permission. I didn't say anything. Doesn't make what she did okay, he added. But I've seen it. That slow drift. Nobody says anything. Nobody panics. Then one day, someone else fills the space. We watch the wind shift the chain-link fence. A leaf skittered across the path in front of us. You think she regrets it? I asked. Probably. But not for the reason you want. That night, Claire was in the living room when I came in. Curled on the couch, blanket over her knees, a half-watched cooking show flickering on the screen. I stopped in the doorway. Can we talk? I asked. She muted the TV and sat up. No hesitation. Just weariness in her eyes. I sat across from her, not too close. I'm not asking you to justify anything, I said. I just want to understand what I missed. She looked down at her hands. Her nails were bare. She'd stopped painting them 2 weeks ago. I don't know where it started, she said finally. I just know I stopped feeling like myself. I became this machine. Work, kids, laundry, dishes. I'd look at you and feel nothing. That's not nothing, I said. That's detachment. She nodded. Maybe, but I didn't know how to say it. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't want to admit I was unhappy. So you found someone else? I found someone who looked at me like I used to look at you. That stung, but I didn't flinch. Did you ever try to talk to me? She shook her head. I didn't know how. You're steady, James. You keep everything running. You don't ask questions you don't want answers to. That part was true. I always thought keeping things stable was love. Maybe she needed mess. Fire. The kind of attention that noticed the perfume before it became a red flag. She looked at me then. Eyes red. I didn't do it to end us. I did it because I thought I was disappearing. I stood up slowly. Maybe you were, I said. But you didn't let me see it until it was too late. She reached for my hand. Just barely. I didn't move. I'm not asking for forgiveness, she said. I know what I did. I nodded. Yeah, so do I. I walked out. Not slamming doors. Not crying. Just carrying the weight of a truth I couldn't put back down. She chose it. Now I had to choose something too. I spent Saturday morning cleaning the garage. Not the kind of cleaning you do when company's coming. The kind you do when something inside you needs order, needs clarity. I cleared shelves, hauled out boxes we hadn't opened in years. School art projects. A snow globe from New York. Her old yoga mat. I found our wedding photo in a plastic tote. The frame cracked. We'd moved it out here during the last remodel and never brought it back in. I set it on the workbench and stared at it for a long time. That night after dinner, I asked her to sit with me in the kitchen. The boys were watching a movie. The dishwasher hummed. She took the stool across from me. Same spot she used to sit when we'd drink wine and make lists, weekend plans, grocery items, baby names. This time there was no wine. No list. Just space. I've decided, I said. She didn't blink. Didn't interrupt. I'm not staying. She nodded once, slowly, like she'd expected it. I'll keep the guest room until we work out the details. But this, I paused. This is done. She clasped her hands in her lap. I know, she said. I'm not doing it to punish you, I added. I just can't live with the way things feel now. She didn't cry. Neither did I. We sat there, two people who used to be something permanent, something known, and now were quietly disassembling the life they built. You're a good father, she said. You always were. I'll still be one, I replied. That doesn't end here. A long silence passed. The kind that doesn't need filling. Then I stood up, walked to the fridge, and pulled out the container with the boys' school lunches prepped inside. She watched me label them. Monday. Tuesday. It was something I'd always done. One small act of continuity in a week that had become unrecognizable. I'll talk to a lawyer Monday, I said. She nodded again. Do you want me to go stay somewhere else? No, I said. Not yet. Let's keep it steady for the kids. Until we know more. Her shoulders relaxed just a fraction, then stiffened again. As I turned to leave, she said, "James?" I stopped. "I did love you. I still do." That's the worst part. I didn't respond. Because whatever she meant by love, it wasn't enough. That night, I didn't go to the guest room. I slept on the couch. Not out of punishment. Not out of statement. I just needed distance from every place we'd shared. From the mattress that smelled like her shampoo. From the silence between two doors. In the middle of the night, I woke up to the sound of the front door quietly clicking shut. I looked out the window. Her car was gone. I didn't text. Didn't wait up. Whatever she needed out there, it wasn't mine to hold anymore. And for the first time in weeks, I didn't feel anything. Just stillness. That's when I knew. It wasn't about understanding. It was about release. And I had let go. 3 weeks after the conversation, I moved out. Not far, just a rental condo a few minutes from the boys' school. 2 bedrooms, basic furniture, beige walls. It wasn't much, but it was mine. And it was quiet in a way the old house hadn't been in months. We split the schedule without lawyers at first. Monday through Thursday with her. Weekends with me. I picked them up Friday evenings, packed snacks, answered questions I didn't always know how to translate into something safe. "Why don't you live here anymore, Dad?" "Because your mom and I are working on having different houses. So it's calmer." "Are you mad at her?" "No." That was true. Eventually, Claire signed the papers without protest. No alimony, no custody fights. Just a clean division. She cried once during the notary meeting. I didn't. I started therapy. Just once a week at first. A guy named Neil, mid-50s, asked good questions and let silence stretch when it needed to. "You say you're not angry," he said once. "But what about grief?" I hadn't called it that. But he was right. Grief's quieter than anger. It seeps into routines. Empty chairs. Unshared mornings. It doesn't shout, it waits. I ran into James once. The man from the hotel. She didn't know I knew who he was, but I'd seen his LinkedIn, recognized the car. He walked past me outside a cafe, didn't meet my eyes. I didn't stop him. There was nothing to say. He hadn't taken her from me. She'd left on her own. The house sold in early spring. Claire cried again when we packed the attic. She handed me a photo album I didn't remember starting, our first camping trip with the boys. Inside was a picture of her reading by the fire. My jacket draped over her shoulders. She looked up mid-sentence. She was smiling. "I'm sorry," she said. I didn't answer. Just tucked the album into my box. It's been 11 months. The boys have adjusted. They don't ask as many questions now. They like the pancakes at my place. They call my condo the quiet house. Claire and I talk civilly. About school schedules. Health forms. Nothing personal. We both know that part's over. I've stopped checking her social media. I don't want to know who's around her now. It's not bitterness. It's boundaries. I still go to therapy. Less often. Some weekends. I sit on the back patio with my coffee and listen to the birds. I think about the life I had, the man I tried to be, and the silence I ignored until it spoke too loudly to deny. Here's what I've learned. Trust is not a contract. It's a daily practice. Love is not enough. But respect might be. And grief doesn't always wear black. Sometimes, it wears your old sweatshirt and waits for you to come home. I don't know if I'm better now, but I'm not waiting for her. And for the first time, the silence feels earned.